Tommy Tanner, president and head coach of the Syracuse Silver Knights, and we'll get started here talking. I know we spoke after the game, but now you know that you have a night to sleep on it, and basically the morning after. Looking back at that game against Milwaukee, overall, what do you have to say about it?
Well, I mean, whenever you spot a team 10 points in the first half, or really the first quarter, 8 points in the first quarter, and against Milwaukee, it's going to be a very difficult climb back in. And we climbed our way back in the game and had some great opportunities to get it. We held them to 12 shots last night. I mean, I think that's the best we've done all year. And they just were pretty clinical in their finish, and we gave them a lot of easy goals. So I'm not disappointed in the effort. I thought we have to find a way to come out quicker, especially in these last two games being must-win games now for us. But we're still confident. We hold our, as crazy it may sound, we hold our own fate in our hands, go out and win two games, and most likely the goal differential and everything is going to take care of itself.
And let's talk about those tiebreakers. I mean, you have your game against Chicago and then Milwaukee. If you win those two games, what do you need to do to guarantee your spot in when it comes to goal differential?
Well, we would need to win by a total. If we beat Milwaukee, if we beat Chicago by 3 points, then we just made up 6 points on them. Our +3, they're -3. We have to beat Milwaukee by 2 points.
Okay.
That would put us into a tie, actually. So then we go to the next tiebreaker, which is points scored, and most likely with a game in hand, and we win. Most likely we would take that tiebreaker.
So when you look at this tiebreaker, basically 8 points is what you're looking at overall.
8 points overall, but
Yeah.
playing Chicago, it's really not 8 points because if you beat Chicago by 4 points,
Yeah.
that's made up your 8 points right there in goal differential. So, we're really looking at, if we can beat Chicago by 4 points, all we have to do is go out and beat Milwaukee the next day. I say all, but we're 0-6 against them, playing defending champs. That's all. But you know what? It would be great to be able to go down to the final game of the season and have something to play for.
Going up against Chicago, a team that was new to the league this year, with you being in it for Syracuse, and just what they did against you. I mean, this is a team that you played them 3 times, they've beaten you, they've shut you out, and now you have a chance to go there and get your first win against them, and it's your most important win right now.
Well, I mean, again, they played us the first game of the year. We weren't ready for that game. Training camp was short. They were in training camp for a month before us, so I chalked that game up as just we weren't ready. The next game was 2 games later. We're winning by 5 in the fourth quarter, end up blowing that game, and then we get shut out by them 11-0. But we took 60 shots. I mean, we could have won that game 30-4. I mean, to be honest with you, we lose 11-0. So I'm pretty confident that we're a better team than Chicago, even though they beat us all 3 times. I think we're playing better. I think they're playing good defensively right now. Obviously, they've held teams to, they kind of play like Milwaukee did last night. They kind of sit back and they go on a counterattack. We have to be able to finish our chances, put them under pressure. We're going to go out and give everything we got. High pressure tomorrow night, and hopefully it pays off. If it doesn't, we went out playing the way we want to play. Looking
at the teams that you played against and talking about Chicago, Milwaukee, and how they kind of play back and are not going at you, repeatedly, what do you need to do to break that norm? Because it seems like in the game against Milwaukee at home, your final home game, that they kind of played back and were not really charging forward, and so Syracuse kind of played into that a little bit in the beginning.
I mean, I think that's what I mean. I don't think it'll happen in Milwaukee on Saturday. I think Milwaukee come out and pressure the heck out of us, and they always do. But they've been on the road a long time, so I think that's why they did it. You just have to be able to finish the chance that you have. We stole the ball 3 or 4 times, and they actually didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
When you make those steals, you got to put the ball in the back of the net. Fenstra I think he's just a terrific goalkeeper. He's huge. He comes out of his goal. He takes up a ton of space. I thought he had a great game last night.
When you look at a team like Milwaukee or even Chicago and the fact that these last 2 games are against teams that you've seen repeatedly this season, you talk about in any sport how hard it is for a team to continuously win against you. You're on the other side of it. How confident are you that you can win these games because these teams have beaten you and it's hard to continue to beat the same team that you keep seeing?
I mean, that's what I don't know who says that, but I mean, we're 5-0 against Rochester. Chicago's 3-0 against us. Rochester's 4-0 against Chicago. Baltimore's 5-0 against 6-0 against us. 5-0 against Rochester. So I mean, it's happened in this league. You just got to go out. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I don't think. I think it just let's go out. Whoever plays better on that night's going to win the game. And you got to create your own chances. And hopefully we get the lucky bounces this time. It didn't happen to us last time in Chicago. Everything bounced against us.
When you look at a player like Brian O'Quinn, I mean, you vote him the MVP for the team. He's taken over since the injury of Ed Reed and with Eric Reed, and Eric not being here. What he's done this season for Brian O'Quinn, speaking on him, I mean, he's your MVP. Why was he your MVP?
Was Ed Reed a good goalie? goalkeeper?
Yeah.
I bet
A little bit tired this morning, John.
That's probably not bad in goal for Baltimore, for the Ravens. I didn't vote Brian the MVP. All those awards were voted by the players.
Okay.
So the players voted Brian the MVP, and I think he deserves it.
And what has he done, in this game for you to be an MVP? Like you said, you didn't vote on him, but if you were to vote, what has he brought to you that maybe Reed didn't give last year?
Well, I mean, I think Brian has been a better shot stopper. He's done a terrific job of stopping shots. I think that's his best attribute. He does a pretty good job of organizing, communicating. And he's been, outside of a couple games this year, I think he's had terrific games. I don't think his best game was against Milwaukee last night. I mean, we're gonna need better at that. But on many of the goals, I mean, when you kick your ball in your own goal, there's nothing a goalkeeper can do.
Yeah.
But overall, defensively, they have to do a better job in these last two games. Hold both teams under 10 and see where we go from there.
What can you say about the young guys on the team? I mean, I saw the scrimmage today where most of the young guys are on one side up against the older players that have been indoor a little bit longer. When you look at these two teams going up against each other and you look at your young staff on the team, what can you say about them and how they're performing right now?
That's something we've done every day this year for the most part. We play young versus old to start up and to warm up and then all on. We need our younger guys to step up in these last two games and produce. I think they've lost a little bit of their confidence. Where they got into some game situations and things haven't gone their way, as to say. So, hopefully they can put that behind them and, confidence. All it takes is one goal, and all of a sudden your confidence level for a young guy, confidence level is through the roof. So hopefully, tomorrow night the game goes well for us to begin, and they get their confidence, and they get a good positive first touch, and they score a goal. And I think we'll be fine.
How do you feel that the team is responding to you as a leader, as far as listening and taking some of your leadership from what you've gone through, with the fact that there's been so many changes on the team and injuries and trades and different people having to come in?
I think that I think I've done a better job this year in terms of trying to organize a team. I think they've done a better job in listening, and I'm a lot more calm. You might not know it, but going into games, I think that the guys actually know what our game plan is and what we want to try to do. And for the most part, they've done it. We've again, it's a game of breakdowns, and we've had too many breakdowns. In crucial times, you can't fall behind Milwaukee, like I said, 8-2 or 6-0, and expect we could have came back, but if it's 2-2, we probably win the game. But instead of being 6-2, 6-0, all the pressure's on us to take the game to them.
We talk about the game of soccer, and you see it last night when you guys went up against Milwaukee at home, that after a team scores their first goal or second goal, whatever it may be, once a goal is scored, it's a lot easier within that short time period to score again. Just go into that in soccer and how a game can be 0-0, but as soon as it's 2-0 in indoor, it can be 4-0 that quick.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I wish I did. I don't know. I mean, it's just, again, it's, the team gets scored on, they put their head down, and then there's another goal right behind it. That's the thing about indoor soccer, that, you're never out of a game, but you never have a game in hand either. So even Milwaukee could tell you last night at 12-8, we were all over them. 3 balls hit the post, 3 3-pointers hit the post. If one of them sneaks in at 12-11, well, it's probably a different story.
And where the team is right now, we talked about it at the beginning, but looking at the fact that you basically are in a position to control your own destiny, is there any regret looking at those games where it was an overtime loss or just that 2-point loss or a mistake at the end of the game that ended up costing you? Because there's a lot of games that could have swung in your favor if one thing changed. Is there any regret?
Oh, there's definitely regrets. I mean, I look at the second Chicago game that we played up by 5 in the fourth quarter and lose that game. Look at the Wichita game when we give up a 3-pointer with 30 seconds to go and lose that one in overtime. I look at the Baltimore game where we have 8 chances in overtime before they even touch the ball to score as another one. I look at the Milwaukee game where they score with, that was to me the killer because we were playing great and it put us in a tailspin, on December 26th when they scored with 30 seconds to go to, win that game, and then we lost 9 of our next 10, where we won. That would have put us at 500 at 6-6, and I think it's just sport, and it's just the little things that affect you. And I think that Milwaukee game, day after Christmas when we lost that game, when we should have won that game, is what put us into a little bit of spin, and we're trying to get out of it right now.
And with these last 2 games to go, with the changes that have come, you got Brian Perez, you lost him. You brought in Beasley, but Beasley hasn't been playing. Grunwald sat out today at practice. When you look at where this team is right now as far as the staff that you're able to put on the field, how healthy and how strong do you think this team is moving forward?
I think we're healthy. I mean, obviously we're going to need some guys, Derek Popovich, Josh Bennett, Antonio Manfoot. to step up. And then we're asking Canardo Forbes and Slav and Neto and Andre, who are all second-year players, and really Canardo's a first-year player, to step up. So I mean, defensively, we need our defenders to get tight. All our experiences in the back. We need our defenders to get tight, and then we need our young guys to be able to go out in there and score us points.
As far as substitution-wise, when these guys are rotating in and out, including at a fast pace in certain parts in the game, how involved are you in who's going out, when they're going out, or do you trust a lot of these players, including some of the leaders, to make the decision when to go out and when to come out?
It's for the most part, it's on theirs. I'll end up if putting the third line guy in. We run in twos for the most part. In the back, we're running in threes, so they know. I mean, every 30 seconds, 45 seconds, minute and a half, based on how tired they are. Obviously, if Nate Bordeaux's in and we get the ball, we'd rather have Slav in than Nate right now, because Slav's a little bit better technically. The same goes with Canardo. We'd rather have Canardo in than maybe Josh right now. Let them go out and defend. And then Derek Popovich, obviously, he's been a defensive runner for us right now. So we lose the ball, Derek goes in and does the work for Neto and Andre. And then when we get the ball back, Derek comes out and Andre and Neto go in. So they've done a good job. That was kind of JD's role. They've done a good job in that. And hopefully, we got 2 games left. Hopefully, we go out tomorrow night. I do believe we're a better team and we'll beat Chicago tomorrow night. But the question is, can you go back to back and go play Milwaukee the next day and win in Milwaukee? Which if we would have took care of it last night, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
And that's the last thing that I wanted to ask you. Playing games so closely. I mean, this schedule, sometimes you're 4 games at home, 5 games on the road, whatever it may be. But now having to win with your back against the wall, 2 games on the road back to back. How confident are you in this team at that point that you have to play so fast? And like you said, 3 games in 4 days.
I mean, hopefully the league schedule will come out a little bit differently next year. We had 2 weekends off, or we had 29 days off, and now we play 3 games in 4 days twice.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. But again, I'm confident that Milwaukee really has nothing to play for other than playing at home. They got second place wrapped up and everything else. Us in Chicago on Friday night, it comes down to everything, all the marbles. Because if Chicago loses, the chances of them getting in are very, very slim. Because if we lose to Milwaukee the next day, then Rochester is in. And if we beat Chicago by a certain amount of points, they're out anyways if we win. So, Chicago's everything on the line for Chicago tomorrow night, as well as us. Because if Chicago loses, I don't see any opportunity. Obviously, if we lose, there's no opportunity for us to get in either, and Chicago's in. So,
appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.